With the frustration of not making a fight with someone like Charlo?
I've come to the conclusion that I'm never going to fight him because he's a bit of a coward, and I'm finally, all the sanctioning bodies are realizing that he's a fraud, and that, you know, he went so hard to win the belts, and you got to go even harder to keep him, you know. And what did he do? He just stopped fighting, and that's unfair for the rest of the division. It's held us all up for 2 or 3 years, so let him go into hiding and into his little holiday, into his little whatever he does. It's not my concern. He's not on the radar at all for anyone anymore at the moment because he's got nothing to bring.
Wow, the man from down under, Tszyu, he says that Jermell Charlo is nothing but a coward. That's what I want to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You heard the clip at the beginning. That is a brand new interview from new champion with the WBO, Tszyu. Now, Tim, he's getting ready to fight Keith Thurman. Kind of a curveball fight from PBC, but nonetheless, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great to see Keith Thurman back in action. He does these long hiatuses. Very dangerous fight for Keith Thurman. I mean, you can argue it's a dangerous fight for Tszyu as well, just because Keith Thurman at his best has power. Keith Thurman at his best has ring IQ and good footwork. His only loss, people forget, Keith Thurman's only loss was to Manny Pacquiao, who is a legend. So, all in all, I'm looking forward to the fight. Now, Tszyu, in that clip at the beginning that you guys heard, he is basically reaming Charlo, and he's saying that Charlo is a coward, and Charlo has been holding up the division for several years. So he said he's glad, basically he's glad that Charlo is being stripped of his titles because it gives the division chance to reset almost, if you will. And that's because I believe Jermell Charlo is down to 1 belt. He literally has 1 belt remaining, and that's a 1 belt, and he used to have 4 where he was undisputed. So Tszyu is saying this is good. This is a benefit for boxing. My thoughts, I mean, I'm not mad at Tszyu for what he's saying. A little bit of trash talk is healthy in the sport of boxing. And the reason why, and now people are starting to see it more and more, the reason why I say these things, right? And people, they try to say the opposite of what I say, for lack of a better word, and go against it and say, oh, you're just hating. But I know what I say because I'm there when I say it. And I'm very meticulous in what I put out and saying things for the right reasons. And so far, so good. It usually works out to the point where the information on my channel is accurate and reliable. So when Canelo announced he was fighting Jermell Charlo, I told you I wasn't really hyped. The whole boxing world thought he was going to fight against Big Charlo, which has his own technical problems because Big Charlo had been inactive. But at least he was closer in weight to where Canelo has fought, even though he's not exactly there. He's at 160 and Canelo is fighting at 168. So Jermell Charlo, I just thought it was a kind of a pointless fight. I thought it was a pointless fight. They were trying to bill it as undisputed versus undisputed. And the way I framed it in past videos is the same way I want to reframe it in that same exact method for people who may have missed those past videos where I said this. Just think of it like this. Name somebody in any division that you think is the top. So Tyson Fury, Usyk, you know, Wilder when he was on top. And tell me, can you envision somebody moving up 2 divisions from, like, let's say light heavyweight and beating the guy who you think is the top in the division, Joshua, Fury, Usyk, whoever. And you go each division, the division by division. Like, for example, light heavyweight. The 2 best people at light heavyweight are Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. So in your mind, can you envision somebody coming up from the 150s or 160s to challenge Bivol or Beterbiev at 175 with no tune-ups, off of a long layoff, off of an injury, and expect them to defeat Beterbiev? And the answer is no. The answer is no in every division. You could look at 147, and this is a direct example that I used previously. If Jaron Boots Ennis, who is a top guy there at welterweight, who's coming up from lightweight, no tune-ups, not acclimating to the division, and you would pick them to easily beat Jaron Boots Ennis, right? Like, be serious, be realistic. And that's kind of what Canelo did. That's why I didn't really fancy that fight. Canelo fought a guy who was off of an injury. Canelo fought a guy who hadn't been in the ring because of that injury since the Castano fight. So over a year off, coming back from an injury, with a hand injury at that, which is the moneymaker for a boxer. And Canelo Alvarez had been fighting more frequently. So Canelo had activity, and Canelo is undisputed at 168. So we know he has experience in that division. On top of that, he's fought at least 2 times at 175, which is the next division up. So, of course, he's going to have a marked advantage over a guy like Jermell Charlo, all things considered. But the fanboys, the Canelo Cinnabons, they don't look at boxing. They are fans of a fighter, as I call them, man fans. And because of the man fandom, they just want to see Canelo win and, you know, and continue to win. They don't care if the match makes sense and things like that. I'm a fan of boxing over individual fighters, so it's easy for me to keep it real. So back to Tszyu, I'm not mad at what he's saying, because what he's saying is true. Jermell Charlo chose the money route, and I'm not saying I blame him, or, you know, who knows, if you get offered the Canelo sweepstakes, maybe you make the same choice. I don't know. But either way, it's unfair to the division if you get up to 168 and fight Canelo Alvarez, but meanwhile, all the belts are being held hostage. So rightfully so, based on the inactivity in the actual division where he's undisputed, 154, or was undisputed, yeah, the division must go on. So Jermell Charlo is being stripped one by one because of failure to fight his mandatories. And that's kind of what Tszyu is entertaining and what he's talking about. And again, Canelo's never going to put himself at the same type of deficit, meaning Canelo would never fight David Benavidez coming off of a year-plus layoff, coming off of a surgery and hand injury and moving up in weight. He just wouldn't do that. You've seen when Triple G was calling him out, he just gave up his belts. He gave up his belts to Triple G initially and ended up fighting against Liam Smith, a fight no one asked for, right? Instead of fighting Triple G and moving up to 160 at that point. So Canelo has showed you time and time again that he beats to the sound of his own drum, and he's not going to be dictated to. And good or bad, he's not going to put himself in any of those compromising positions. Like Jermell Charlo moves up to fight the Canelo, and then the fight is one-sided, so that already hurt Jermell Charlo. Then he's getting in legal trouble. That hurts Jermell Charlo's brand. You lost every round versus Canelo, got dropped. And then on top of that, to add salt in the wound or insult to injury, you have all the sanctioning bodies doing what Tszyu is saying and now collecting and taking your belts. So Jermell Charlo is definitely going to have to rebuild his career, because he did all the heavy lifting and collected the belts in very good firefights, very good technical fights. But now he's at a point in his career which he got the money for the Canelo fight, but it seems to be on a downtrend right now. So he's going to have to like rebuild, and we'll have to see how he looks. And that's another reason why I didn't like the Canelo Charlo fight, because at the end of the day, getting punched on by a guy who has experience like Canelo and at a bigger weight, who knows what that does? That's his second loss. Who knows what that does to your confidence? and also to your physical, because you took some big shots in that fight, right? Got hurt in that fight. And then now on top of that, you're losing all your belts. So you got guys like Tszyu. He hasn't had those experiences. He's on the uptick in terms of his career. He continues to fight on, and he's looking good. We'll see what he does with Keith Thurman. But right now, Keith Thurman and Tszyu is the talk, and Tszyu is on the, you know, he's like ascending up in his career. So we'll see how Jermell Charlo bounces back and deals with all this adversity. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more in boxing. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.